Lieutenant Adam Carter stood at the wide window of the Galactic Peace Station and watched the broken world of Carrick's turn slowly below. Starships from a dozen species drifted around the station, their lights blinking in careful diplomatic rhythms. In only a few hours, the first peace summit between Earth and the Zelari Empire would begin. And Adam, just 30 years old and still a junior. Officer had been chosen as Earth's single voice. The Zelari were famous for perfect logic and for living without open feelings. The briefing files warned that one careless human gesture could look like mockery. Stay precise, Admiral Hua had told him. Deviate, and you might start a war. No pressure, Adam thought. Behind him, on a plain steel desk, sat a padded case. Inside rested a small snow globe he had made during the 3-week journey from Earth, a tiny wooden cabin, frozen pond, and glitter that swirled like starlight. To humans, it was a friendly souvenir. To the Zelari, it might be meaningless or disastrous. But treaties and equations had failed for decades, and Adam believed that a kind gift might speak louder than numbers. A soft knock broke his worry. Captain Ashia of the Sarati Commonwealth stepped in, her feline eyes resting on the globe. Trinkets make the cold ones nervous, she warned. They trade formulas, not tokens. Formulas never show a heart, Adam said, closing the case. Esha's whiskers twitched in amused resignation. It's very well, human. Our shields are extra thick in case your heart explodes. Alone again, Adam smoothed his dark formal jacket, lifted the case, and walked toward docking ring C, where the Zelari shuttle had just arrived. The reception hall was a cathedral of neutrality, pale walls. No flags, no statues. A single round table waited in the center. Adam entered with 2 silent aides. Moments later, the tall, silver-blue Zelari filed in. Soft lights pulsed on the smooth nodules of their heads, translating silent bioelectric speech. At their front moved Princess Virelia. Rumor called her a scholar of forgotten customs. Her robe shifted color with every step: pearl, then steel, then deep dusk. Her large dark eyes showed neither warmth nor disdain. They simply observed. When all were seated, Adam rose, bowed exactly 30 degrees, and stepped forward with the case held in both hands. Honored Princess Virelia, he said in a calm voice, I present a gift from Earth. He opened the lid. The globe caught the ceiling lights. White glitter drifted over the little cabin. No one breathed. Virelia's nodules flickered, then froze. She lifted the globe as if it might break. You made this yourself? She asked through a small floating translator orb. Yes, it recalls winter on my world quiet. Safe, at peace, Adam answered. Silence thicker than vacuum followed. Zelari counselors stiffened. One elder's nodules flashed amber, a warning pattern Adam had memorized. His stomach tightened. Was snow taboo? Was gifting itself a crime? Virelia's long fingers curled around the glass, her measured breathing sped up. You crafted beauty with your own labor, she whispered, and gave it freely to another among my people. Such an act is unheard of. She straightened. I must withdraw. Without another word, she left. The counselors hurried. After her, the hall, built for harmony, now felt like an empty shell. Captain Ashea slipped in through a side door, tail flicking. Well, think I just wrecked diplomacy with a toy, Adam muttered. Hours crawled past. Reports poured in. The Zelari canceled the afternoon sessions. Security corridors were sealed. Rumors spread that Adam's gesture had violated some ancient decree. Alone in his small cabin, he replayed every second, searching for the mistake. Maybe gifting meant ownership to them. Maybe a snowy image reminded them of an old tragedy. Way, Earth might pay for his novit. A discreet chime sounded. The station A, I spoke in a neutral tone. Lieutenant Carter. Princess Virelia requests your presence in Private Chamber 7. Unarmed. No escorts. Refusal could deepen. The rift acceptance might deepen it more. But Adam had started this, and hiding would solve nothing. He slipped on his jacket and stepped into the silent corridor. Chamber 7 was small and dim, lit only by strips of floor light. Varelia stood alone. The snow globe rested on a stone pedestal between them. She spoke without formal greeting. "You risked exile by giving me this," she said. "I only meant to share something human." Adam replied. Varelia shook the globe gently. Glitter spun in slow grace. "When I was young," she said, "I found forbidden archives about early Zalari, who painted, sang, and sculpted for joy. Our elders erased that era and taught us to fear strong feeling. Yet this snow awakens memory." She opened her other hand, revealing a thumb-sized crystal orb, glowing soft violet. "A NM seed," she explained. "It stores thought and sensation. Giving one is forbidden, yet I offer it because your gift moved me." Adam accepted. The seed. Warmth flowed into his fingers, and half-formed images shimmered. Crystal towers, lonely corridors, a child longing for color. "Let the council study your equations," Varelia said quietly. "We will speak through what we trade tonight." She bowed only a second, but astonishingly deep. "Keep the seed close. It will show more than words." She turned and left him with two secret gifts, a modest earth snow globe and a living fragment of Zalari memory. For the first time all day, Adam dared to believe that his gamble might change everything. The next morning, Lieutenant Adam Carter walked through the quiet halls of the Galactic Peace Station with a heavy heart. The meeting yesterday had ended strangely. No one had shouted, no one had made threats. But the silence of the Zalari delegation felt louder than any war cry. He still carried the NMC that Princess Varelia had given him. The crystal orb pulsed softly in his pocket like a heartbeat. He hadn't told anyone yet, not Earth Command, not the station's diplomats, not even his closest ally, Captain Ashia. He didn't know what the gift meant, not completely. The news channels were already buzzing. Earth officer breaks Zalari. Protocol unexpected gift causes cultural shock. Peace talks endanger Adam's side. He had only tried to be kind. He passed through a hallway filled with glass windows. Outside, the stars glittered like dust over black silk. He paused and looked down at the broken planet below the dead world of Carix.
Nice.
It was a reminder of what war could do, a reminder of what he wanted to prevent. Just then, his cum badge buzzed. Lieutenant Carter came. A robotic voice. "You are summoned to Observation Deck 12. Princess Varelia awaits you. Alone." The deck was quiet. No guards, no aides. Just soft white lights and the hum of air filters. Varelia stood at the far window, her hands behind her back, her long robes flowing like mist. Her antenna-like nodules were dim, unreadable. Adam approached carefully. "I didn't expect to see you again," he said. "You gave me something." Varelia replied softly, still facing the stars. "Now I return the act." She turned around and placed something on the glass table beside her. It was a small cube, silver and green, glowing faintly. Unlike the NM seed, this was clearly a device Zalari technology. Adam raised his eyebrows. "What is it?" "A memory viewer," she said. "It allows you to experience a Zalari's thoughts and feelings directly. I placed my own memories inside." Adam hesitated. "I thought Zalari didn't share emotions." "We don't," she said, "or we didn't. Until you." He touched the device. A faint pulse moved up his fingers. His vision shifted in suddenly. He was no longer on the deck. He stood in a tall, cold hallway. The walls were smooth silver. The air smelled sterile, like nothingness. A young Zalari child, Varelia, sat alone on a bench, her eyes wide and sad. Other children passed her by, silent, robotic. No one looked her way. Then the scene changed. She was older, studying in a large library. Books floated in the air. She read quickly, hungrily, but not for knowledge, for meaning. Then he saw her, hiding behind a wall, watching secret footage dancers, singers, painters from ancient Zalari history. Tears slid down her cheeks. Even though Zalari were not supposed to cry, finally, the image faded. Adam blinked and found himself back on the observation deck. Virilia watched him carefully. Now you understand. I have always felt more than I was allowed, but I never had the courage to show it. He nodded slowly. Why show me? Because you gave me something real. Your snow globe. It was not just an object, it was a message. A human saying, here is something that made me happy. Maybe it will make you happy too. No formula, no demand, just care. Adam smiled gently. I didn't expect it to mean so much. Neither did I, she said. That is why. It mattered. She walked to the window again and placed her hand on the glass. The council is frightened now. They fear change. They fear that if we start feeling again, we will lose control. Adam stepped beside her. And what do you fear? I fear nothing, she said, then added except silence. That evening, Adam sat in his quarters, thinking. The memory viewer was safe in his drawer. The NMC sat on his table. It's a gift, one of technology, one of memory. Both from a princess who had broken centuries of rules just to feel something again. Then the station lights dimmed, and a message flashed on his wall screen. Urgent, diplomatic halt, Zellery Council. Demands Earth withdraw Lieutenant Carter. Possible. Sanctions pending. Adam felt his chest tighten. They were punishing Earth because of him, because of a snow globe. He tapped his communicator, Captain Eshia. Her voice came through at once. I saw it. It's serious. You may be sent back. To Earth tomorrow. I need to talk to Virilia again. That might only make it worse. I still have something to say, Adam replied. The next day, before the official meetings began, Adam took one last walk to the center chamber, the place where it had all started. He stood alone in the middle of the round table. The snow globe was in his hand again. One by one, Zelari delegates entered. Their faces were unreadable. Virilia was not among them. I do not ask for forgiveness, Adam said aloud. I only ask you to look at this. He held up the globe and shook it gently. The glitter danced. I made this with my own hands. It's not valuable, but it means something. It holds a piece of home, and I gave it not to insult, but to invite. A pause. Then a door opened. Virilia entered. She held something new, a crystal panel, marked with the symbol of her house. I present this, she said, as a token of personal alliance. The chamber erupted with soft murmurs. A personal alliance. Between Zellar and human? It's unheard of. But in that moment something had shifted. 2 small gifts, 2 small hearts, and the silence finally began to break. The NMC lay on Adam Carter's desk, glowing faintly like a sleeping star. He sat alone in his quiet quarters, turning the small crystal between his fingers.
Ow.
No matter how many times he stared at it, he couldn't forget what Princess Virilia had said the night before. This gift means everything to my people. But what exactly was the meaning? Adam didn't sleep that night. He read every file he had on Zellery culture, ancient laws and royal customs. Yet there was almost no mention of gift-giving. The few records that did exist were written in poetic, unclear language. One phrase caught his eye. Jertalin, the bond of soul-sharing, awakened only by a gift made by one's own hands. That phrase made his heart beat faster. Had he accidentally invoked an old tradition? He needed answers, and someone to talk to. The next morning, Adam met Captain Ashea in the observation lounge. The Sarati officer raised an eyebrow the moment she saw his tired eyes. You look like you fought a gravity storm with your face, she said. Adam placed the NM seat on the table. Tell me what you know about this. Ashea's playful mood vanished. She leaned forward, ears twitching. Is that what the princess gave you? Adam nodded. Then you're in deep, my friend, she said. Why? That's a Jertalin token. It's part of a forgotten Zelari bonding ritual, she explained. Giving one doesn't just mean trust. It means the start of something sacred. Soul sharing. Adam blinked. But I didn't mean I know, she interrupted. You gave her a snow globe. A peaceful gesture. But to her it triggered something more. That globe was made by hand, with real emotion. The Zelari haven't seen something like that in generations. Adam sat back in his chair. So, did I insult her? Or promise something I don't understand? Isha shook her head. You reminded her of what her people used to be, and maybe what they still could be.
Wow.
In the Zellery royal chambers, Virilia stood before a long mirror. Looked steady, but inside her thoughts swirled like a storm. She had broken an ancient law by accepting Adam's snow globe, and giving him the NMC ID in return. She had silently activated a ritual not performed in over 300 years. And she had done it on purpose. Her people had lived in silence for too long. No art, no music, no shared feelings. Even dreams were private and rarely spoken aloud. But when she held the snow globe in her hands, something inside her heart had moved. Something powerful. The glitter had reminded her of her childhood wonder. The handcrafted gift reminded her that emotions were not weakness, they were life. Now the council was watching. Whispers of her actions had spread. Some elders spoke of betrayal. Others were simply confused. She took a deep breath. She had no regrets. Later that day, Adam was summoned to a secure conference room. 3 senior Earth diplomats stood waiting for him. Ambassador Reeves did not look pleased. "Lieutenant Carter," he began, "the Zellery Council has gone silent. Our envoys were turned away this morning." Adam stayed calm. "Is this about me?" "Possibly. You've become the center of attention, and not in a good way." Another official leaned forward. "We need to know. Did you make a formal bond with the princess?" Adam shook his head. "Not on purpose. I gave her a snow globe. She gave me this." He placed the glowing NMC on the table. The diplomats stared at it. "That's rare," one of them whispered. "Extremely rare." Adam looked at them all. Maybe what happened wasn't a mistake. Maybe it was exactly what the Zellery needed. Ambassador Reeves frowned. "You're a soldier, Carter, not a cultural savior." "I didn't try to be anything," Adam said. To speak directly to the council, the diplomats exchanged glances. After a long pause, Reeves sighed. "You'll get your audience. One chance. Don't make things worse." The next day, Adam stood before the Zellery High Council for the first time. The chamber was cold, quiet, and filled with glowing light panels. The elders sat in a circle, their faces unreadable. Princess Virilia stood at the center with him. Elder Vorel spoke first. "Lieutenant Carter, do you understand what you have done?" Adam stepped forward. "No," he said honestly. "Not fully. I gave a gift. A small thing. A memory from Earth." Virilia lifted the snow globe. She had brought it with her. "He gave me this," she said. "And when I looked into it, I saw a feeling we had forgotten." The elders murmured quietly. Another elder asked, "And you responded with the NMC? Why?" Virilia looked at them all. "Because it felt right. Because I believe it is time for our people to feel again." Elder Vorel stood. "Feelings brought war to our ancestors. Emotion leads to chaos." Adam raised his voice slightly. "No, it leads to understanding. You've survived with logic. But what if now you could live with feeling?" Virilia turned. "To face the council, I will accept any punishment. But I will not hide what I've felt. The ritual of Jertalin was not a mistake. It was an awakening." The room went silent. After a long pause, the oldest elder tapped his staff once. "The council will discuss. You are dismissed." Back in her private quarters, Virilia looked out the window at the stars. Adam stood beside her. "That went better than expected," he said. "We challenged old laws," she replied. "That's never easy." He handed her a small tablet. "Wrote something. Not a speech, just a message. Something we could share with both our people." Virilia read it. Her eyes softened. "Together, we found a new way. To understand, not conquer. To feel, not fear." "Yes. Let's share it." The share it stood in silence, side by side. As the stars drifted past the station windows, a bond had been formed not of power, but of trust, and that trust would soon shake the galaxy. The peace station felt colder than before. News of the alliance token Princess Virilia gave to Lieutenant Adam Carter had spread fast. Across the galactic peace station, whispers grew louder. Some saw it as a symbol of hope. Others, a dangerous mistake. In the Zellery sector of the station, The mood was tense. The High Council had called an emergency meeting. Elder Vorel, a powerful and strict member of the council, was furious. She broke protocol, he hissed, pacing around the glowing table. No Zellery in 10 generations has formed a personal bond with an outsider. This threatens our unity, our traditions. Other elders nodded, their head nodules flashing bright yellow, a sign of alarm. Aurelia stood before them, calm but firm. Acted from truth, she said. He offered a gift of peace. I returned the gesture. You offered him an alliance token, Vorel snapped. That is a bond symbol between Zellery nobles. Do you intend to bring him into the royal line? Varelia's voice did not waver. No. I intend to bring change to a frozen empire. The council fell silent. Then, without another word, they voted. Varelia would be placed under palace arrest, and all contact with Earth would be cut off immediately. The peace talks were suspended. Meanwhile, in the Earth sector, Adam Carter sat at a long table with Earth's ambassadors and advisors. The room was full of tension. You've gone too far, Lieutenant, said Ambassador Reeves, slamming a report on the table. They've shut down all communications. They're calling you a cultural invader. Adam didn't flinch. I didn't force them. She chose to respond. We may be looking at the collapse of the entire negotiation, another official added. Trade deals, alliances, peace, all of it. Captain Ashea entered quietly, then tossed a data chip onto the table. There's something you should see. The chip showed a message one that had been found inside the Inum seed. Varelia had given Adam. Hidden within its layers was a glowing line of Zellery script. Earth's AI translated it. He awakened something in us. Let him speak. The room fell silent. Adam stood. She gave me permission to share her memory. Let me show the council what she feels. That's risky, Reeves said. You might make things worse, or I might make them listen. 3 hours later, Adam walked into the Grand Council chamber. The Zellery elders sat in a perfect circle, unmoving. Security bots hovered at the edges. He allowed Adam in, but made it clear, one wrong move, and he'd be removed. He held up the memory viewer Varelia had given him. I don't come with threats or demands. Adam began. Only this. He pressed the activation panel. One by one, the Zellery elders saw what Adam had seen. A young Varelia alone on a school bench. Her secret visits to forgotten art galleries, her tears as she watched dancers from her lost culture, her silence, her longing, her hope the chamber was completely still. No one moved. Even the security bots hovered quietly. When the memory ended, Adam stepped back. She's not weak, he said. She's strong enough to feel again. It's not a failure. That's a future. Elder Vorel's face twitched. This is manipulation. You show emotion like it is strength, but emotion destroyed us once before. And your fear of it is destroying you now, Adam replied calmly. You don't have to be like us. But maybe you can remember who you were before you erased feeling from your people. Silence. Then Elder Crow, one of the older council. Members tapped the floor with her staff. The vote will be held. The council debated behind closed doors for hours. Back on Earth's side of the station, Adam waited in his quarters. He looked again at the small snow globe, now placed next to the glowing Enum seed. 2 gifts, one from each world. He remembered what Varelia had said. Keep the seed close. It will show more than words. The door beeped. Captain Ashea entered with a slight grin. Well, Carter, she said, tail flicking behind her. Just made galactic history. He sat up. What happened? They didn't remove you. They didn't break off peace talks. In fact, she tossed him a data tablet. You've just been promoted to Cultural Liaison Officer and assigned to something new. Adam read the words. Emotional Exchange Initiative. Joint Leadership. Princess Varelia and Lieutenant Adam Carter, his mouth opened slightly. They're actually doing it? She nodded. Council split down the middle, but enough of them agreed to try a new path. They'll keep their logic and rules, but they're opening the door to emotion again. Carefully. And Varelia? She's been released from arrest. She's been assigned to this project too. First mission begins in 5 days. Adam let out a slow breath. Then we did it. Ashea smiled. You in a snow globe, but peace never comes easily. In a dark chamber deep within the Zellery High Citadel, Elder Vorel stood with a group of loyalists. They wore silver robes, marked with old war symbols, symbols not seen in public for centuries. She is leading us into chaos, one elder said. With a human, Vorel nodded. Then we must prepare. If they continue, we remove her. The silent signal was sent. Something dangerous had awakened in the shadows of tradition, and though Adam and Varelia had opened a door to peace, others were already planning to shut it forever. The atmosphere on the galactic peace station had changed, where once there was silence and tension. Now there was movement. Zellery citizens walked beside humans in shared corridors. Delegates from other species stopped to listen as holograms played. Human music and Zellery memory art side by side. This change had started with two simple things, a no globe and AMM-seed. At the center of it all was the new program, the Emotional Exchange Initiative. Lieutenant Adam Carter and Princess Varelia were chosen to lead it together. It was the first time in history that a Zellar royal and a human worked as equals. Many were excited. Some were cautious. A few were angry. But Adam focused on the mission. He stood now inside the initiative's new cultural center, a large, open space filled with light and floating screens. Human paintings covered one wall. On the opposite side were flowing Zellari, memory patterns colored lights that moved in response to emotion. Not bad, Adam said, looking around. Varelia stood beside him, her eyes soft. This is only the beginning. If this works, our people may remember how to feel without fear. She looked different, now less distant, more open. She had changed. So had Adam. Just then, a group of young Zellery students entered. They paused in front of a snow globe on display. One of them whispered, "Is this the object that started everything?" Varelia walked over. "Yes," she said. But it was not the object alone. It was the intent behind a tan, honest attempt to share peace. The students watched the globe as the glitter fell like snow. One of them smiled, but peace is never without enemies. Far below the station, in a hidden Zellerai vessel docked in shadow, Elder Vorel stood with a secret group of traditionalists. They called themselves the Keepers of Silence. They believed emotion was a disease, one that had nearly destroyed their species long ago. To them, Varelia was a threat, and Adam was a virus that had entered their empire. She is corrupting our future, Vorel said, pointing to a screen showing the cultural center. If we let her continue, the old ways will be lost. What do we do? Asked a younger member. We remove her, Vorel said, quietly, permanently, before the next transmission. Their plan was simple. Varelia and Adam were scheduled to send a joint message to both Earth and Zellari networks within 2 days. It would be a message of unity, a symbol of a new age. The Keepers could not let that message happen that night. But Adam sat in his quarters looking at the message draft. It was simple and sincere. Together, we found a new way. A way to understand, not conquer. To feel, not fear. Let this be our beginning, he smiled. It wasn't poetic, but it was real. Just then, his door chimed. He opened it and found a small Zellery boy standing there, holding something wrapped in cloth. I saw your story, the boy said. I wanted to give you this. Adam took the package carefully and opened it. Inside was a hand-carved figure, a mix of Zellery and human features. Holding hands. I made it, the boy said proudly. Adam was touched. Thank you. The boy ran off, smiling. Adam placed the carving next to the snow globe. Another gift. Another sign. The next day, Varelia walked into the broadcast chamber. Adam was already there, checking systems. Security was tighter than usual. Some officers had noticed strange signals near the docking bays. Nothing confirmed, but still, caution was rising. Are you ready? She asked. Adam nodded. Let's give them something to remember. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Then blackout. Lights flickered. The screens went dark. An alarm sounded. Emergency red lights bathed the room. Security Officer Tila rushed in. Unauthorized access in Docking Bay 7. Armed Zolari units detected. Adam grabbed the data chip with the message. On it. They're trying to stop the broadcast. Borrelia's face was calm but firm. Then we must get to the auxiliary console. Now. Bay ran through the station, guided by security. Behind them, the Keepers of Silence moved fast, disabling systems, blocking doors. Borrelia and Adam reached a side room. The emergency console was active. Adam inserted the data chip. Ready? Borrelia nodded. He hit transmit. The message went out to Earth, to Zelari cities, to allied systems across thousands of worlds. People saw the two of them standing together. They saw the snow globe. They heard the words of unity. And something. Awakened on Zelari worlds, young citizens gathered around screens and began to ask questions about art, about memory, about feeling. On Earth, children saw aliens, not as enemies, but as partners. Even in neutral zones, old warriors and traders paused and thought, maybe things can change. Back on the station, Keepers realized they had failed. Elder Vorel stood in silence, his plan broken. One of his followers asked, "What now?" Vorel looked away. "Now, we wait. Motion always brings chaos. One day they will beg us to take control again." But even he could not stop what had already begun. That evening, back at the cultural center, Adam and Borrelia stood alone. The station had returned to normal, but everything felt different. "We did it," Adam said. "For now," Borrelia replied. "But this is only the first step." He looked at the carving, the globe, the glowing memory art around them. "So many small things," she said. "But together they made something powerful." Adam smiled. "That's how all great things begin." 3 days after the broadcast, Galactic Peace Station was busier than ever. Visitors from different species came to see the cultural center that started a quiet revolution. News reporters, teachers, and curious travelers stood in front of the snow globe that had been placed inside a glass case. They watched the glitter fall, unaware that something so small had changed the hearts of two worlds. Lieutenant Adam Carter stood nearby, answering questions from young students. He smiled. As they asked about the snow, the cabin inside the globe, and why he chose to give it as a gift. "It was simple," he said. "I gave it because it reminded me of peace. I hoped she'd feel the same." The students nodded, listening carefully. Just then, Borrelia entered the room. Her presence, as always, made the crowd quiet down. Her robes were no longer the sharp, official silver of a Zolari princess. They were soft blue now, like the color of a calm sky. She walked toward Adam, carrying something small in both hands. "Is everything all right?" Adam asked. "Yes," Borrelia said, her voice calm and clear. "I have something for you." She opened her hand slowly and revealed a crystal object shaped like a blooming flower. At the center of the crystal was a soft blue light, pulsing gently. Adam's eyes widened. "What is it?" "It's called a Christ heart," she said. "Is very old, very rare. Among the Zolari, it is only given once in a lifetime, by someone who has truly been changed by another." Adam took it gently. It was warm to the touch. "You're giving this to me?" he asked, unsure. "Yes," she replied. "Not because of duty, not because of politics. Because I was different. Before I met you, and now I'm not. You reminded me of things I thought were lost." For a moment, Adam didn't know what to say. He had given her a snow globe, something he had made with his hands, with simple Earth's memories. And now she was giving him a symbol of her soul. "Thank you," he finally said. I don't know if I deserve this." Borrelia smiled softly. "You gave me more than you know." The Christ heart began to glow brighter. A warm wave of energy moved between them. Silent, peaceful, powerful. It wasn't painful. It was gentle, like a breeze that carried memory. In that moment, Adam saw flashes of her life. A lonely child in an empty palace. Secret tears over a hidden painting. The joy she felt when she touched the snow globe for the first time. And the way her heart changed when he didn't treat her like a symbol, but like a person. and Varelia saw him too. A young man who feared he didn't belong. His quiet moments, working on the snow globe. His deep wish for peace. His courage to speak when no one else would. When the light faded, they looked at each other not as a human and an alien, but as two people who had shared something rare around them. The room was quiet. Then one of the students clapped. Then another. And soon the room filled with warm applause. Later that evening, the station held a celebration. Lights danced through the halls. Music from Earth and Zalari cultures played together for the first time. Adam stood with Captain Ashia. Near the viewing window, "You've done something impossible," she said, flicking her tail. "You made them feel? I didn't plan any of this," Adam said, still holding the Christ heart in one hand. "All started with a gift." "Sometimes," Ashia said, "that's all it takes." Varelia walked over, now free from any royal guards, any formal duty. "They've invited us to speak at the Council of Planets next," she said. "They want us to explain how emotion can help peace, not destroy it." Adam raised an eyebrow. "You ready for that?" Varelia looked at him with calm confidence. "As long as I'm not speaking alone." He smiled. "Then we'll speak together." It's far away, on Zalari Prime. Changes were already happening. In quiet rooms, Zalari children were painting for the first time. In schools, teachers played music that had been banned for centuries. In public spaces, citizens shared dreams, fears, hopes. The old silence was fading, but there were still whispers of resistance in the shadows. Elder Voral watched these changes with cold eyes. "They've started a fire," he said. One of his loyal followers asked, "Shall we strike back?" Voral stared into the darkness. "No," he said, "not yet. Let them believe in peace. One day they will face the cost of feelings. And when that day comes, they'll call us back." But for now, peace was growing. The snow globe stayed inside the cultural center, never locked, never forgotten. The Christ heart rested safely in a glass case beside it, with a small note, a gift for a gift, a change for a change. Adam and Varelia continued their mission, traveling to new planets, speaking to new species. They weren't just telling a story, they were living it. And in every place they visited, someone always asked, "Is it true?" You gave her a small gift. She gave you something that changed everything. And Adam would smile and say, "Yes, I never expected it." But sometimes, the smallest gifts bring the greatest reaction.